Hi everyone, welcome to our review of the new 2022 CCM Axis 2 equipment. This is the UK's first set of this equipment and we're extremely excited to be able to test it out and review it for you. So we'll look at the leg pads in the first video, and then video 2 we'll be looking at the blocker and catcher. So if we start with the leg pads, CCM have near enough completely redesigned the entire leg pad for the Axis 2s compared to the original Axis that came out a couple of years ago. With the introduction of the new dynamic response system, which is a one-piece inside edge which completely overlaps the knee block, which creates a much stiffer pad but a lot more stability with the pad in general, but in particular when dropping into butterfly. So we can see now there is very little flexion on the knee now when in butterfly, which allows you to keep a nice seal to the ice. But what this does as well, with it being so much stiffer, it reduces the impact on the ice by about 30%. I think 31 to 32% is the stats that CCM are giving on that. So by keeping the knee closer to the leg pad, there's a lot less impact that's absorbed through the body, which obviously is better for your knees, your hips, but allows you to get into butterfly quicker as well. So has benefits for the body, but also for your performance on the ice as well. This set doesn't have it on there because I'm a bit old school with how I like my pads, but CCM have updated the quick motion strap system to be higher on the leg. So on the retail models and on a lot of the custom options as well, you'll have a much higher up strapping system, which will simulate the Professor strap that some other companies will make on the leg pads. And what that does is it holds the leg pad a lot closer to the body, makes it a lot more responsive, and as we've talked about before, a lot more stable on the ice as well. So as I mentioned at the beginning, the leg pad is a lot stiffer. CCM is saying that it's twice as stiff as the previous Axis pad, which was already quite a stiff leg pad, but it's not in an uncomfortable way. I've used this on the ice a few times, and you know, the stiffness is a definite benefit in terms of responsiveness on the ice. In terms of like rebound control, you've still got the Max Rebound Plus material at the front here. Probably a stiffer version of it as well. There's very little give there. So rebounds, I'm easily clearing the blue line on rebounds on low shots on these leg pads, which, you know, is never a bad thing when it comes to, especially when it comes to scramble plays around the net. So one thing that I would advise people, if you are ordering these pads, something that I didn't do, if you're ordering custom, please order the QKR straps. These are just the normal leather straps. And if there was a downside to these pads, is that they're not very high quality. They do peel very quickly. I noticed these on my previous Axis pads and also these ones as well. So that would be my negative for these, is just to order the QKR material, which feels a bit more plasticky, but it's a lot more durable, won't break on you, won't split like these straps have already started to do after a few uses. In terms of the weight of the pad, it's heavier than the previous Axis pad, which I was very surprised at, but because of the stability and how the weight is distributed, you don't notice it on the ice. I do feel they actually perform better than the previous Axis pad, just through the stiffness. The stiffness actually allows the weight distribution to be a lot more balanced, so you don't notice it at all. So don't just take it on how it feels out of the box, actually put a pair on before you decide about the weight, because it's not an issue, and I actually already much prefer these to the previous Axis pads. So thank you for watching part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll talk about the blocker and catcher in a bit more detail.